Hey, you guys, come on in for another story time. It is Sunday evening, you guys, and I hope you had an amazing vacation from your job, or did you have to work? So I've been off since Thursday. I got off 7 o'clock on Wednesday, and I've been off since Thursday. And I have to say these 4 days have went by fast. Anywho, before we get started, go ahead and click the bell for notifications. Give the videos a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Why? Because it is free. Everything is going up but YouTube, okay? And go ahead and leave me a comment down there in the comment box. You know I always talk back to you. Mention give the videos a thumbs up, but if you don't like the video, what do we say? Don't leave it, because I don't care. So, you guys, I'm going to tell this story time, and I had totally forgot about this one. Now, this story time, you guys, is kind of like a paranormal type story time. Now, let me turn this thing down because it keeps dinging, you guys. I've had multiple paranormal experiences. So tell me if you guys have had any type of paranormal experiences. But this one, I really did not understand. Some paranormal things that have happened to me, I understand. You know, by and by as time goes on. You may not catch it in, but you catch it a little bit later. But this one I didn't understand whatsoever. And I know the exact date that this one took place. This one took place on 9/11. And if I'm not mistaken, 9/11 was in 2001, I want to say. It was in 2001. And so we lived in a community here that's called Price Hill. And we lived in this little house, and it had like 2 bedrooms, but it had a den on the first floor. So what I did was I made the den into my bedroom. And it had a basement, it had a sun deck, it had a balcony. It was a really cute little house. And we lived on this street that probably had like 5 or 6 other houses on it. And it had like a little creek, you know, that was up over the little hill or whatever. And so this particular day, I'm at home by myself, and I am a morning person. Like, I'm always up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. On the weekends, even on vacation, I'm up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. But what I will do is I'll go back to bed later on and take a nap, like maybe 10:30, while everybody else is probably just getting up or what have you. I'm going back to bed because I done did everything that I needed to do. So I'm taking me this midday nap. Now, I don't know why I wasn't at work. I don't know why I wasn't at work. I wasn't at work. Maybe I was off. Who knows? I was working though. So I end up taking a midday nap. Now, mind you, at this particular time, my kids were gone to school, and I was married at the time, but my husband was at work. And so I'm in the bed sleeping, and I wish I had it with me. I hear keys coming. Hold on. I'm going to get some keys, y'all. Okay, so I hear some keys outside the front door, like this. And the key goes in the lock, and they open the door. And the person, like where my room was, the door was just like maybe 4 good steps. And then you're right there by that den area, which was my bedroom. And I'm thinking in my mind, what is he doing home early? I'm thinking it's my husband coming home. Like, what is he doing home early? Maybe, I don't know. And I go to open my eyes, but I couldn't open my eyes. Now, have you guys ever had that happen where you are asleep and you try to open your eyes, or you feel some type of presence or something around you and you can't open up your eyes? So I'm trying to open my eyes, but my eyes would not open completely. And so it didn't say anything. Now, if it would have been my husband, he would have said something. He would have came in the room. He would have acknowledged me. He would have looked in and said, hey, I'm here, something. It didn't say anything. This person or thing had on, in my mind, I'm thinking it has on boots because it's walking like super heavy. So it's walking like, and it walks past my room, and it goes through down a little hallway, and then there was the living room, and it went into the kitchen, and it stopped at the basement door. And I'm at the point where I'm trying to open my eyes, but my eyes were open like a slither. Like, it wasn't even open. It wouldn't open. I'm like, why can't I open my eyes? Like, I'm woke, I'm conscious, I can hear everything. Why won't my eyes open? And then it walks back. And it goes out the door, and it locks the door, and that was it. So by this time, I'm still trying to open my eyes. My eyes open. And I'm like, So I call him. I get up out the bed and I'm walking through the house and I'm looking and I'm like, what is going on? So then I go to the front door and I look out the front door. I don't see his car. And I'm like, who was that just came in here? Now, it wasn't my oldest son. He wouldn't have came home from school early, but even if he did, he was so skinny. There's no way he walks that heavy. This was a heavy being, whatever it was heavy by the sound of the footsteps. So I called my husband on the phone. I said, did you just, come home and maybe did you just come home? He was like, nah, I'm still at work. I'm like, you didn't come home? He was like, no, I didn't come home. And I'm like, what the frick is going on? I said, man, somebody just walked in here. He was like, are you for real? I was like, yeah, somebody just walked in here. I said, but they had keys. He was like, it ain't a maintenance man. Now, this was a privately home. We had a, a private landlord. So there wasn't a maintenance man that would have a set of keys like it is when you live in an apartment complex. I didn't remember at that time if I had some type of, maintenance request from the landlord. But if the landlord would have saw me, right there in the den or in my bedroom, he would have said something. But and I was like, he was like, you sure you wasn't asleep? I said, dude, I wasn't asleep. I said, by the time I heard the keys jiggling in the door and it opened and then it closed, I said, I tried to wake up. He was like, did you see anything? I said, I didn't see anything. I said, I couldn't open up my eyes. He was like, why you couldn't open your eyes? I was like, I don't know. He was like, you sure you wasn't dreaming? I said, no, I wasn't dreaming. He said, well, what happened? I said, it walked to the kitchen and then it came back through and it went back out the door and it locked the door again. He was like, man, call the police. And I was like, all right, then. I was like, well, let me just call them before you come home or whatever and, see what the deal is. Now, mind you, I didn't know that 9/11 and the bombing and stuff like that, the airplanes going into the buildings was taking place at the time because I'm asleep. So I end up calling the police and the police come and he was like, well, what's going on? So I began to explain to him. He was like, did you see this person? I'm like, no. He was like, was it, maybe the neighbors gathered? Who has a key to the house? And I told him, I said, my husband's at work. I said, so he's not here. My kids are all at school. And he was like, okay, then, but he was like, they opened up the door. They opened the door. He was like, you sure maybe it's not somebody that used to live here? I said, man, we've been living here for like a couple of years. No, nobody, would have came in or whatever. He was like, I don't know what to tell you. We're going to check everything. So they went around the back of the house and they checked and, looked at the door jamb to make sure that it wasn't broken. It wasn't broken. And he said, well, where did he go? I said, he went to the basement door. So they went to the basement door. He was like, it doesn't look like the basement door has been open because we had like some little cobwebs that was there. I very rarely went down to the basement, but there was some cobwebs. He was like, if he would have went down into the basement then or opened the basement door, the cobwebs would have been broken. He was like, I don't know what to tell you. This is, just kind of weird or whatever. Just make sure you watch out, maybe change your locks, talk to your landlord, be aware. He gave all these different tips and scenarios. And I'm like, okay, so by this time I'm not going to sleep or what have you. So that little incident passed. I found out about 9/11. I had to go pick up the kids because I believe at that time they let all the kids go home early. So I went and picked up the kids, brought them home. But some months later, now this thing, whatever it was, continually came back to the house. Continually came back to the house. So I told my daughter before I did this story time, my youngest daughter, I told her that I was going to do the story time about that house. Now, something that she mentioned to me that after all these years, she never said anything to me, and I never noticed it, was going up the steps. There was the bathroom at the very top of the steps, and then there was their room, and then it was my son's and them room. And she said she never felt comfortable sleeping in her room. She never felt comfortable. She said, Mommy, I never slept in that room. And I do remember, now my daughter was small at the time. She will always be down in our room watching TV, watching Shrek, because that was her favorite movie, jumping into bed with us, or she would go in there with her brothers and them. But she didn't feel comfortable. And in their room, it had like this little closet door that was like slanted, like an attic type thing. It was an older house, so it had like these little, how they had these little doors that goes here and goes there. But she said she never felt comfortable, but she didn't even really give me a description as to why she didn't feel comfortable. So sure enough, I'm taking a midday nap again. This thing comes back, same routine. Keys, opens the door, Close the door, lock it. I try to open my eyes. I could not open my eyes once again. And in my mind, I'm thinking, he's going to go back there to the basement door. Walk back there to the kitchen by the basement door. Came back. Unlocked the door. Locked it back with a key. That was it. Few months go by. This went on for probably about, that presence came probably about 4 or 5 times. By the second time it came, I talked to my pastors that I had at that particular time and asked them, I said, hey, something keeps coming in my house, you know, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, you know, so I'm explaining the whole scenario. She was like, I don't know what that is. She was like, when it comes, are you fearful? Now, the first time I was fearful. Slightly, I was fearful because in my mind, I kept thinking it was my husband. But when I realized it wasn't him, I was like, ooh, okay, that wasn't you. But when it came back the second time, I really wasn't scared because I knew when I heard them keys jingling that it wasn't my husband. I knew it was that thing. And it came probably about, I want to say about 4 or 5 times. She didn't have an answer for it. She just was like, you know, anoint your doors, pray. Do you want me to come over and pray through your house? Anything like that? I said, no. She said, does it come, you know, stand over you? Does it bother you? I said, no, it doesn't. And she was like, well, who used to own the house? I don't know what the history of the house is, but that thing, you guys, will come every couple of months or whatever. And then she didn't know what to say, so she was like, maybe it's a guardian angel. I'm like, I don't think he need keys. But he got keys to the kingdom. I don't know what he need no keys for. If it's an angel, you can kind of burn. You can walk through the door. You ain't got to open it. I don't know if it did it to announce itself so that I would know it was there. But it did the same thing. It just walked through the house and then it would go back out the house and lock the door. It was so weird. But this happened like 4 or 5 different occasions. And after a while, by the 3rd time that it came, I was like, here he come. He back again. I just figured it was a male, I don't know, a male spirit because of the heaviness of it. It seemed like it had boots on or something. And it did that for some months. And then after that, it never came back no more. But my daughter was never comfortable in that home. And by the first time it came, I didn't tell my husband that it kept coming back because it never came back when anybody was there. It only came when I was there midday around 10 or 10:30 when I was always asleep. I never saw it. It didn't leave like a smell or anything like that. But I could never open my eyes. I think it was good that I couldn't open my eyes because there's no telling what I would have saw, but I could never open my eyes. I just knew subconsciously he back again. And that was it. Weirdest thing, y'all. I done had a few paranormal experiences. I don't like them, but I don't know what that one about. So I just kind of chucked that one up too. Maybe he was just I don't know, the gatekeeper or something. Maybe he just, who knows? I don't know who lived in that house. I take that back. I do know who lived in the house before. It was the people next door used to live in the house, and then they bought the house next to him and sold the house to my landlord. But before him, I don't know. And I never asked them any questions about, did somebody die in the house or what was going on? So that's my paranormal story, y'all. But this place ain't nothing coming up in here, baby, because I hollers all up and through here, okay? We ain't doing none of that no more. And don't come up in there with no keys. Only people coming in here keys is ones to pay rent, baby. If they come over here this time, you better leave some money. You better take your supernatural tail and go on and get some money and help out on these daggone bills, baby. Because rent too high to be walking up and through here. And take your boots off. Don't come tropping through my house with boots on and carrying on. If you're going to come in, be quiet because you knew I was asleep anyways. So don't come in there waking me up and carrying on top of you watching over me. Let me get my rest, okay? Whew, y'all. I hope y'all have an amazing week. And I pray this week goes by fast, just like these 4 days off went by fast. You guys, go ahead and click the bell for notifications. Give the videos a thumbs up and also engage with me down in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and share the video. And also follow me on all other social media platforms, you guys. Follow me on all other social media platforms. But let me tell you guys this. So for you that don't know, well, I don't think you guys know. I don't think I ever told you. I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I am a travel agent. That's why I be doing all this traveling, y'all, because I be getting good little discounts. Now, this is something that I really want to do next year. I want to do like the Giggle Squad takes over Jamaica. I don't know. I'm thinking about putting together a group trip to see who all wants to go, and we can like all meet each other and have like a really, really good time in the Caribbean. So let me know if you guys are up for that. I'm thinking maybe November, which will give people time to get all their monies together and everybody doesn't have a passport. So that's something that's kind of on my radar to do because you know my job about to lay me out. So I have time to plan stuff and put stuff together. Let me know if y'all interested in that. Okay, you guys. Peace.